Thank you so much. Yani Madad to all friends, and welcome back. Today, inshallah, we will continue to read and we'll finish reading this Farman of the Imam Zaman in Lisbon, Portugal on December 3rd, 2025, just last month. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Ya Mulai Merban. या मौलाए मेहरबान या मौलाए मेहरबान मदद फरमा या मौलाए मेहरबान मदद फरमा मदद फरमा या मौलाए मेहरबान मदद फरमा मदद फरमा या शाह रहीम अल अकरम 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 अल अकरम अल अकरम शाह रहीम अल अकरम नूर मौलाना शाह रहीम अल हुसैनी हाजरिमा या मौलाए मेहरबान तौफीक ताईद हिम्मत व यारी मौला या मौलाए मेहरबान तौफीक ताईद हिम्मत व यारी मौला. As Imam Zaman Farman and the command to the Jamaat is to read and reflect on the Farman. I will give you Farman on different topics and I will guide you with my Farameen. We are gathered here to read the Farameen and try to reflect on them. There are paragraphs and lines and words where we will stop and we will try to reflect on them. And there would be paragraphs or lines or words we will just read, but that does not mean that you will not read and reflect on this Farameen. If you feel that I did not cover a line or a paragraph that you wanted to understand or needed our attention, then at the end you will have opportunity to ask or comment, or we can discuss. Inshallah, together we will read this Farman. And if anyone wish to read this Farman, they can also come forward and help me read this Farman. Because this is our endeavor, combinedly, we are trying to read and reflect. Please recite the Holy Salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala Muhammad. Continue on the page 2. My dear Jamaat, my Portuguese Jamaat is well established here, and this is home. And when a place is your home, when it is yours and you value it, you ought to help to keep it strong. We value a peaceful, pluralistic, and ethical world. We should not take for granted the things we value, just as we nurture and attend to the relationships with people. We also need to do that with communities and institutions that we value. In this paragraph, Imam is reminding the Jamaat that you have made this place your home because you value this place, and to keep it strong and keep that value peaceful and pluralistic and ethical. We should not take anything which we have been given or what we have achieved or taken for granted. We should not think that because we deserve it, we have it. No, actually, it is all from Him, the one above. Small or large, whatever we have, we should not take that for granted. And we should nurture it, and we should attend to those relationships with the people and the communities and the institution that we value. Portugal has welcomed my Jamaat and eased our integration into society here. And we reciprocate by giving back into the community. The Jamaat here has grown significantly in recent years. So in this two line, along with the previous paragraph, that Portugal has welcomed us here, meaning as a country, as a government, as a people. And same goes for those Jamaats which were living there, and they welcome the other Jamaat into their cities and into their homes and into their heart. So what should we do? Make sure that we give back what we have taken from the community, from the Jamaat. And following the establishment of the seat of the Ismaili Imamate in Lisbon, my international Jamaat has also invested in Portugal. So it looks like there are two kinds of investment at least, one by the local Jamaat and one by the international Jamaat. Not to mention and forget the investment, and we are not talking about the investment money-wise, but relationship-wise and intellectual-wise into the Lisbon, as we have the seat of Ismaili Imamate, a representation of the Imamate, a seat in Lisbon. I believe there are only two of them. If there is a third one, then well and good. One in Lisbon and one in Canada, a seat of the Ismaili Imamate. That is a very significant place where Imam decides to open his embassy, a seat of Ismaili Imamate. And whomever is our ambassador there, that relationship between that country and international wise is just like having an ambassador of a country or a president. Those ambassadors are the ambassador representing Imam, Imamate, and Jamaat. And we should not ignore them or forget how important that is. It is important that this investment be not only in the real estate, but that we make meaningful contributions back into the fabric of Portuguese society. So I said to my Jamaat today, serve your country, give back, care for and strengthen the communities in which you live, and continue to participate in civil society. You know, this cannot be just a farman for one city or country. That is true for all the countries and all the communities that we live in. We must give back what we have taken from that country, city, or community. Extend the participation. Give of your time, your experience, your skills, your financial resources, but not just your financial resources. Participate in enhancing what we value about Portugal and the Portuguese people and the Portuguese culture. Be in service. There is a saying, anyone can throw money at problems or throw money in the charities or throw money in the communities. But our community, Smileys, we truly believe in voluntarism, because imams after imams after imams have taught us to be part and the fabric of the community. Personally, through your voluntarism, through your body and the language, through your resources and intellect, through your skills and knowledge, fully engage in your communities. Not just throw the money at the charities or in your community. Because anyone can throw the money, that's cheap and easy. But when you get involved yourself, you are giving your time, your knowledge, your skills, your education, and of course, your financial resources comes along with you. And I believe that is very important for us to understand. My dear Jamaat, it is a source of pride for me that so many families have been well settled here for the decades and are doing very well. It is my hope and prayers that when my Jamaat does well, when you earn well, that you earn not just for the sake of earning more for yourself, but that you earn more in order to make the lives of other people better. This point we have discussed in other Farmans of USA as well. Money or earning for the sake of oneself or for the sake of collecting and having more should never be the purpose of having wealth. But this earning and the wealth should be for the sake, in order to make others' life easy and better. And we have been taught well, guided well by the Imam Sabah. Charity begins at home, extend that to the Jamaat, extend that to the global Jamaat, extend that into your community locally, and then extend that into the communities wherever our Ismaili brothers and sisters live. Many, many millions of hours of time and knowledge has been given in the third world country by the established countries and the Jamaat. What was the lesson learned? That we are the Jamaat who gives their time, gives their knowledge, gives their skill, knowledge, and resources, and also financial resources to help other communities or other Jamaat around the world. Recognize that when Allah's grace, your own life improve, our duty is to lift others up with us. Strive to do well, materially so that you can provide for your families and help others. In Houston, Farman Imam says, you cannot be needy if you're going to be helping other needy people. Here, Imam saying, you need to be well off materially. And there's nothing wrong being a rich and well off person. For what? So you can help others, provide for the others after you have provided for your family and your Jamaat. Helping others is an act of faith. Share what you have. Share your material resources, your knowledge, and time. This is the line I was talking about. It's not only about throwing the money, but at the same time, your knowledge and your time. Be generous. Extend your generous spirit to your brothers and sisters who have arrived more recently in Portugal. They may need some support. Share your networks and resources to help others to settle well, to establish children in good schools, to live in safe and secure homes, to secure appropriate employment, and to live dignified life. Helping each other creates unity in the Jamaat. And unity in the Jamaat is very important to me. Seek unity, Mullah says. Here, there are people within the Jamaat who can do little. For example, show others where they can find good jobs. Show others how they can get into business. Not necessary they have to give them money or time, but knowledge, the information that you have, share that. Don't be stingy in the information, knowledge, and then if you can give time, give some time. Show them the rope. Show them what you know. Teach them, advise them. Bring them in your home. Offer them a tea while you are teaching them what and how they can become better in whatever they are doing. Doesn't matter what they're doing. It may be education. It could be something regarding khidmat. It could be about a business. It could be about how to live in a new country, language-wise, culture-wise, but share. Share, do not be stingy, and be united with your Jamaat. Help wherever help is needed. My dear Jamaat, the world is increasingly interconnected. The ability to speak other languages, multiple languages, opens opportunity for you in Portugal and also outside Portugal. If you have recently arrived in Portugal or Spain, learn the national language. It can give you better access to education, employment, and investment opportunities. Maintain the languages you already know, you speak to your children. Here, I would like to share something, and that word is maintain the languages you already know, you speak to your children. We have seen this in the Americas that include Canada and USA, and also in English world like Europe. For whatever reason, parents do not teach their children their mother tongue. For example, Gujarati, Kutchi, Sindhi, Urdu, or If you are from Africa, whatever Swahili or other languages you are speaking. If you're coming from French countries, Afghanistan, Tajikistan, teach them your language. And let me tell you what would happen. If you teach your children your language, they will connect with you, they will learn your values, they will learn your culture, they will understand your background. And you and your children and their children will benefit a great deal. I have seen those who did not teach their children their language. They have and their children have lost the culture, the background, the understanding. And as they get older, they will forget your culture and they will not be able to give that to their children. Before you know it, they have lost everything, all your culture, all your background. And who is doing that to their children? That is us. We are doing that. You know, as a parents or grandparents, we have a great responsibility on our shoulder. If you don't teach your children or grandchildren your language, they will never learn your culture, and that will be a great loss. I'm not saying that, Imam is saying that now. I've been saying it for years, but now Imam is telling you by Farman, this is the command. Maintain the languages you already know, you speak to your children. English is very important. So now if you come in Portugal, let's say they are learning Portuguese or in Spain, Spanish. Don't forget English. Now you have two languages, English and Spanish. Don't forget your Gujarati, Kutchi, Sindhi background, Dari or Persian background, or whatever other languages, Urdu or Hindi, that you normally speak. The more languages your children will learn and speak, more their brain, faster their brain will work. It's a great mistake thinking that your children only need to know one language, whatever that is. That's a great mistake. English is very important. It is still the global language of commerce, research, academia, and science. It is also the language of my Farmans. You see that? English is the language of the Farman of the Imam. So let's turn the table and speak to our Pakistani, Indian, Bengali, or friends living in Tajikistan, Afghanistan, and other non-speaking English country. You also need to learn English. Not only because it is a global language and it will help you in commerce and other things. This is a language of the Farman of the Imam of the time. In other words, this is the language of our Imam. As Muslims learn Arabic to read Quran, we should learn English so we understand our Imam and his Farman directly. And you would not need anyone to translate the words and the Farman of the Imam and Zaman. Learn the language of your Farman, of your Imam, and the common language of our Jamaat. You understand? This is the common language of our Jamaat. Knowing English will enable you to communicate with each other across nations and will open new opportunities of growth for you. I don't know if I remember this correctly or not, Imam Shah Karim have said, English language is the passport to the world. Now this Imam is telling us that this is the language of my Farman and the language of my Jamaat. If you speak English, you can talk to anyone across the world, regardless of where they live. Portugal continues to be a place of opportunity for my Jamaat living in Portugal, also provide you with access to many other markets around the world. Again, if you speak English. Your capacity to seek opportunity in other Lisbon countries is enhanced by your ability to speak Portuguese. Look at what opportunities you may be able to create in other Portuguese-speaking countries. As the citizen of Portugal, you also have access to rest of Europe. Expand your horizons to include these countries as places of opportunities for you. You have Jamaats in France, Germany, Scandinavia, Switzerland, and other countries in Europe. Open doors for each other in your respective countries and work together, identify potential opportunities on which you can collaborate. Look at Imam not only telling us we are a global Jamaat, one Jamaat, Imam is literally holding our hand and showing us the path. Opportunity to work with each other across border in different countries. Scandinavian countries, other Swiss countries, French countries, Germans, and other European countries. Again, this is not just for Portugal. If you have a strong passport, you can also do the same. If you have a European passport, or if you have an American passport, or you have a Canadian passport, or any other country passport which is open to the world, same will be for you. My dear Jamaat, we are a faith which recognizes that diversity as a gift from Allah. We know that diversity in the Jamaat makes us strong. I remember one of the Shah Karim's Farman way back in 70s or 60s, 50 years ago, where he's speaking about the Jamaat, the Sindhi Jamaat talking about Punjabi Jamaat, Punjabi talking about Baloch Jamaat, Baloch talking about Gujarati Jamaat, Gujarati talking about Kutchi Jamaat. And we were divided. He is Kutchi, he is Gujarati, he is Sindhi, he is Hunzai, he is Chitrali, he is from north, I am from south. And Imam been coaching and guiding us that when we have a different backgrounds, that is the strength. We can learn from each other and work together, because you may bring something from your culture and I can bring something from my culture. You may have advantage because of the language you speak. I may have advantage with the language I speak. I may have a resource in the state, city, or the country I'm coming from. You may have a strength from the city, country, or state you're coming from. When we work together, then we can have a strong Jamaat and very strong Jamaat in position to help our Jamaat across the world and the communities in which we live. We show our love for Allah by the way in which we treat others. One cannot love Allah if he does not love his creation. And the best of the creation is the humanity. How can we not love our human brothers and sisters, our Jamaat? Doesn't matter where they have come from. And we can say, I love Allah, but not his creation. Or I love Imam, but not his Jamaat. Those who work voluntarily in the khidmat for the Imam Zaman, but do not serve the Jamaat with a good intention, I'm sorry, they are not serving the Imam. To serve the Imam, you must serve his Jamaat. It has been the guidance of your Imams for generations. For women in the Jamaat should be educated and financially empowered. Here, I will highlight this again. It has been the Farman of the Imam for generation, for the woman in the Jamaat should be educated and financially empowered. Don't underestimate yourself. First, don't underestimate yourself. You have the power to be what you want to be. Then you will see the counterpart, meaning the man of the Jamaat. Your husbands, your fathers, and your sons will value you. But if you do not value yourself, how can you expect others to?
My dear Jamaat, we are a faith which recognizes that diversity is a gift from Allah. I think it should be. We know that diversity in the Jamaat makes us stronger. We show our love for Allah by the way in which we treat others. It has been the guidance of your Imams for generations for women in the Jamaat. It has been the guidance of your Imams for generations for women in the Jamaat should be educated and financially empowered. Portugal is a country in which it is possible for women to work and thrive. You have many successful women. Professionals and leaders in our Jamaat are now happy to learn of their success. It is also good for the health and well-being of our families when both parents are actively involved in childcare and child rearing and in the running of the family home. So share the responsibilities of the home. Share the responsibilities of your family unit. Share these with your partner. Be equal partners in this. Since the next paragraph is connected, we'll continue. Some of our family units are made up of members who follow another tariqah, another faith, or no faith. Actually, we can pause there because it's talking about another point. So what I see from this is that the Imam is going out of his way to point out diversity, which the Imams have done many, many times in the past. But that diversity is a blessing. It's a gift from Allah. That point we should be well versed in, and that the diversity makes the Jamaat strong. We know this. But the point that struck out, or the sentence that struck out at me, is that the Imam is telling us, how do we show our love for Allah? Do we show our love for Allah only through zikr, only through tasbihat, only through our rituals, only through our prayers, only through our attending for Jamaat Khana? The Imam, though, tells us to, come to Jamaat Khana regularly. Here he goes out of his way to tell us how do we show our love for Allah. And that is by the way in which we treat others. And maybe what we can connect that to is that in a previous Farman, I believe maybe it was Dallas, if I'm not mistaken, where the Imam says that Allah is not separate from you. So, wouldn't that then make sense that this is how you show your love for Allah, since Allah is not separate from you and others, right? And Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah talked a great deal about the principle of mono-reality, how there's one single reality. So that is just something for us to reflect on, inshallah. And then he talks about it has been the guidance of the Imams for generations for women, that they should be educated and financially empowered. Alhamdulillah, we're way ahead. Our Jamaat is way ahead of other Muslim communities when it comes to this. Our Imams have the wisdom and insight to lead us into the modern world and into a more equal, fair, and just world where this is not only do we, this is a sort of a fact of life of the modern world that we have to sort of struggle and adapt to. No, we're leading the way in this. We're sort of leading the path for other communities to see. And that this is, the Imam also here talks about, sharing responsibilities, that because both people are now working or actively involved in modern life, then what that means is it doesn't necessarily, oftentimes what's become the case in the modern world is that, yes, women have been empowered to be able to go out and work, but then the responsibilities of the home life are totally still upon them. So I believe the Imam is making here, it seems like a point to stress that, since both people have the outworldly responsibilities now of work and things like that, then that means that the work at home should be shared. That would be the fair thing to do. So the Imam is saying, share the responsibilities of your family unit. Share these with your partner and be equal partners in this, right? Equal. Alhamdulillah. Then the Imam continues in the next paragraph. Some of our family units are made up of members who follow another tariqah, another faith, or no faith. They are your families. They are part of our community. There are many ways in which we can define community. In my eyes, all the members of your family are an integral part of our community. This is a very interesting point that the Imam seems to be stressing. Our Hazir Imam seems to be stressing that, maybe sometimes we just viewed us as, only the Ismailis, only the people who can be in the prayer hall. We are the community. But the Imam seems to be stressing here that your extended family is also part of our community, and that there's multiple ways we can see community. Excuse me. So, and that's why he says there are many ways in which we can define community. So no doubt that we're still a community of the Ismaili believers who, are specifically have the bay'ah with the Imam. That definitely is a community. But the Imam says that we shouldn't limit, or he says there are many ways in which we can define communities. And he's saying that in my eyes, all the members of your family are an integral part of our community. And remember, the Imam has stressed about the single soul, that we are all from a single soul. So for the Imam, all of us, regardless of whether we are part of the Jamaat or not the Jamaat, if we've learned in the past, the Imam is not only the Imam for the believers, but he's also the Imam of humanity at large. So in this way, that may be one way to look at or understand that why in his eyes, all the members of your family are an integral part of our community. We are all from that single soul after all. It is only at the time of the congregational prayer that prayer holds exclusively for those who have pledged their bay'ah with the Imam of the time. At all other times, our extended family members are welcome to participate fully in community life. My focus is on our many common values and the principles of how to live good ethical lives. We value pluralism and diversity. Our values are peaceful and inclusive. There is not enough to say that we have these values. We must also express these values in our actions. We must live these values. I want every member of our extended community to feel welcome, to feel appreciated, to feel cared for. I care for you and I care for your families. Inshallah, we will have an opportunity to meet some of them tomorrow. So, the main point here that I'm feeling after reading this is that uh, this is something that the Imam wants to really stress in our minds, that they are part, the interfaith family are not just like appendages that, you know, we have to tolerate or deal with. No, they are part of our community. They're welcome in all the aspects of our community, except for simply the prayer hall during congregational prayers, which are for those who have given the bay'ah to the Imam. But otherwise, for all intents and purposes, we can we can include them and we can share with them our values, common values, right? The Imam says, my focus is in our many common values and the principles of how to live good ethical lives. So whether they're from a Christian background, a Jewish background, a Hindu background, there would be many, many common values that we can focus on. And here the Imam is reminding us that it's not just enough to say we have these values. We must also express these values in our actions. And here, maybe the Imam is inviting us to be the leaders in this, right? That if we really talk the talk, all these values of inclusiveness, diversity, and ethics, and all of this, then we should be the first and foremost in living out these values and setting the example. And our interfaith family members, they shouldn't have see any reason to excuse, you know, these guys just talk the talk, but when it comes to living, they cheat other people, or they do this, or they do that. No, in another Farman, the Imam says that we are a trusted community when we give our word, and so. You remember that, right? Um, we basically have a responsibility as Ismailis, as ambassadors of the Imam's Sirat al-Mustaqim, to lead the way, to show, not only to talk, but to demonstrate with our lives, how we live our lives day to day, that we, you know, this is real. This is not just talking. Um, and the Imam says, inshallah, we will have an opportunity to meet some of them tomorrow. And I really appreciate, you know, I felt how the Imam at the end of that sentence before that says, I want every member of our extended community to feel welcome, to feel appreciated, to feel cared for. I care for you and I care for your families. So the Imam previously, you know, we've seen a lot that the Imam says he cares for us, he cares for our well being. But now this care is being extended out to our interfaith family members. Or the point is being stressed. I'm sure it was the case previously as well, but the point is being emphasized, that he cares for them as well. And inshallah, they will feel that, and they will see, you know, based on how we live out these ethics. And when we live out these ethics, you know, in relation to them, there would be care involved, right? Like that's how you care for people, is to treat them well, to treat them right. And maybe that may be one way of how the Imam extends his care to them. It's not that the Imam's going to come to every one of their homes and care for them. How is the Imam going to care for them? Well, that's our responsibility, right? If we have interfaith family members, to be that link, to be that part of the chain where we listen and understand the Imam's guidance, and understand how he wants us to care for them and care for them, right? He guides, but we have to follow. Next, the Imam says, my dear Jamaat, I want to repeat how important it is to me to live according to the ethics of our faith, that your actions and behaviors are underpinned by our values. These values are not separate from you. Allah is not separate from you. It was this Farman that I was referring to, I guess, not Dallas. He is the creator of everything. Give thanks to him for his mercy, for his generosity, for his protection. Keep Allah close to you. Keep Allah in your thoughts and in your lives at all times. Today you will receive the gift of a tasbih from me. Let it remind you that I would like you to live a life of faith, to keep your faith with you at all times. Let it be a reminder to you that only the soul is eternal. Nourish your soul with your prayers. You can pause there because there's so much there in here. So the Imam, what I see, well, it's very important to him that, and he's repeating it. I repeat how important it is to me to live according to the ethics of our faith, that our actions should be underpinned by our values. And two sentences here to reflect on. These values are not separate from you. Allah is not separate from you. I would like maybe at the end, uh, if Kayal or others can give some insight on or give their perspective on what is this understanding of these values are not separate from you. What is that is a very interesting sentence that should be reflected on, and maybe we can parse it out together. And then Allah is not separate from you. We can understand this at least to a certain extent that we are able. Allah is not separate from you. He is the creator of everything. And then he, in a couple sentences later, he says, keep Allah close to you. But I thought the Imam just said Allah is not separate from you. So why would we have to keep Allah close to us if Allah is not separate from us? This is something that we all have to reflect on, I believe. And the Imam says, keep Allah in your thoughts and in your lives at all times. So Allah is not separate from us in reality, but we perhaps cut ourselves off from his presence. We cut ourselves off from that presence, and we don't experience Allah being with us. So that's something that is very important to reflect on, that Allah is not separate from us. He is with us all the time. But the Imam is telling us in a way that it's possible for you to lose that connection. So keep Allah close to you so you don't lose that connection. Keep Allah in your thoughts and in your lives at all times. And then he gives the gift of a tasbih that hopefully, that the receivers of that tasbih would cherish and value that and use that to remember Allah and keep Allah close to them. And then he reminds us that to keep our faith with us at all times, and let it be a reminder to you that only the soul is eternal. We've heard this so much, sometimes it's when you hear something so much, it almost becomes, it loses its, I don't want to say that, God forbid, but in a way, sometimes if you just hear something so much, the words lose their significance and you kind of just pass them by. Oh, we know the Imam says that. The Imam always says that. But this is a really, really important point, that your soul is eternal. And and it's so important that this is why the Imam constantly has to remind us of this. And this is all connected with the idea of Allah not being separate from us and our soul being eternal, and that we are all from a single soul, and that we have to nourish your soul with your prayers. So the soul can become famished. So the soul can become sick, it seems, right? If somebody doesn't receive the proper nourishment, and physically speaking, they can become sick. They can become malnourished. And then they cannot work well. They cannot move around maybe when you're sick, when you're malnourished. So the Imam is telling you that your soul needs nourishment too. And we know what our faith teaches us. What is the nourishment of the soul? There's nourishment for the soul is of course prayers and remembrance. The Imam tells us, keep Allah close to you and remember, keep him in your thoughts. That would be nourishment. But also ilm, right? We've talked about on this channel before, I believe Aziz sir has explained that we have three levels of our being: our physical being at the lowest level, then we have our spiritual being, our soul, then we have our intellect, our aql. And nourishment for the aql would be the ilm, the knowledge. That knowledge would help us, inshallah, to live in alignment. So the nourishment, we have to think about what are the sources of nourishment. It's the prayers and it's the ilm, the haqiqati ilm, which keeps the soul fresh and alive and nourished and able to, if we think about this faith is known as the Sirat al-Mustaqim. Well, you have to walk and get towards a destination, or run, whatever idea you want to use, depending on the pace. But if you are malnourished, are you going to be able to make it to the destination? I would think that somebody would have a hard time running a marathon, completing that destination, reaching that goal, if they're malnourished, if they're not properly nourished. So this nourishment of your soul with your prayers is important. So we don't forget to eat every day, but oftentimes I think we may forget to. It's possible, not speaking about everybody, but it's possible that we forget to pray every day. Sometimes we may. Anyways, I think the point is made. Okay, the next point: come to Jamaat Khana when you can, and pray together. There is benefit to you when you pray together. Take time for your prayers, and also take time for quiet contemplation, to remember Allah, to give thanks, to remember His gratitude and profit in your Imams. And if you do so, if you live an ethical life, if you take time to nourish your soul, it is my prayer that you will find peace and pure and true happiness. I pray for the health and strength of your souls. Kanavadan, Kanavadan, Kanavadan. I give my best loving blessings to you and your families. I pray that you may have unity in your families. I pray for your good health, for success in your worldly endeavors. I give blessings for courage, for generosity, for compassion, and for your care of others. Interesting. The Imam is saying that again. I give blessings. See, every time the Imam gives his prayers, we should think about that as that he's pointing our attention to the things that he wants us to do, to the thing that he would like for us to do. So when he's giving us the blessings for courage, for generosity, for compassion, he's telling us he wants us to be courageous. He wants us to be generous. He wants us to be compassionate, and he wants us to care for others. And the Imam is saying that he is with us during this. He's giving us his blessings. He's with us. He'll help us in this. He's there with us, right? He's always with us. The Imam's always with us. He's not separate from us. May your lives be filled with happiness, a deep and pure and lasting happiness. This is something that the Imam, Kanavadan. This is something the Imam has stressed again and again, that it is only your faith that can give you the true happiness. All the other happiness and things like that, material happiness, is temporary and fleeting. But this pure and lasting happiness is only something that your faith can give you, right? It is your faith that talks about the eternal soul. It is the faith that talks about nourishing that eternal soul with prayers. And so it is the faith that can give the pure and lasting. Lasting may mean eternal or permanent, a deep and pure and lasting happiness, a happiness that doesn't end. Kanavadan, Kanavadan. So I'm going to pause here. Kyle, are we good on time? Are we?
How much is left?
I think there is one, two, three, four, five, several small paragraphs.
Yeah, I think we should just continue, and that way we can complete this
Okay.
one.
Okay. After presenting the Memani and Nazrana, my dear Jamaat, my Mukis, Kamriyas, Mukhianis, and Kamriyanis have offered Memanis on your behalf. I accept these Memanis, and I convey to each one of you my best blessings for your service. I have also blessed Abishafa for my Jamaat, Kanavadan, Kanavadan. My president has offered a much generous Nazrana on your behalf. I accept this Nazrana and give blessings for your generosity. Kanavadan. I intend to use this Nazrana for the benefit of my Jamaat under the jurisdiction of the Council of Portugal. The Imam takes such great care to tell us that this, what you're offering me, I'm going to return it back to you, basically multifold, and to use it for your benefit. Right? In this day and age, we have people who question, even within the Jamaat, what the Imam does with the offerings that are made to him. And for this Nazrana, the Imam is telling us how he's going to use it. Your leaders have also presented two beautiful volumes which document the Islamic architecture of Andalusia. I hope that you will be able to see the details of this gift and will appreciate the symbolism of its historic and contemporary relevance. Just to pause there, it seems that the leaders have presented these two beautiful volumes which document Islamic architecture of Andalusia. I hope that you will be able to see the details of this gift. So the Imam knows what's in these volumes, basically. Like he knows that history. It's not that he is ignorant of that history, but he's saying, I wish for you to learn about it. I hope that by saying, I hope that you will be able to see the details of this gift and will appreciate the symbolism of its historic and contemporary relevance. That's my humble understanding, at least. It is a reminder of a time when society was strengthened by diversity of talent and plurality of thought. I will treasure these volumes, and they will be a reminder to me of this very happy visit to my Jamaat in Portugal. Before I leave, I give special blessings to all the volunteers who have come together to make this such a happy visit. I admire your commitment and dedication, and I'm grateful to you all. Always those volunteers who give their time to make this visit, the Imam to be able to meet the Murids. The Imam always goes out of his way to give the special blessings to know how much he appreciates those volunteers, those who serve, those who care, right? They're showing their care. I admire your commitment and dedication, and I am grateful to you all. Every member of my Jamaat has contributed to making this such a happy moment. You have worked with heart and attention and care. I see and feel the heart with which you have worked. You do not need to be told when you are working in unity. I feel it, and this unity makes me very happy. I give blessings to my volunteers who serve with love and unity in their hearts, who support other volunteers, who serve with kindness and patience and respect for the Jamaat, and who serve with joy and happiness. We see this sometimes, right? Yes, we have an exceptional tradition of service. The Imam is always championing and cherishing our volunteers and this tradition of service. But when the Imam goes out of his way to say, I give blessings to my volunteers who serve with love and unity in their hearts, who support other volunteers. Now, we are not here to criticize, but we should be able to, as the Imam says, if we make mistakes, we should be able to reflect on it and to resolve to do better. Have we not seen, whether it's us or we've seen it elsewhere, where we're there as volunteers to serve, but sometimes we don't work well together, or there's bickering that happens between volunteers. And this is during seva, this is during serving, this is during supposedly during an act of love and care and compassion and unity. And the Imam is sort of reminding us that during our service, it's especially important for us to remember why we are there, and that we should be there in unity, and that we should be supporting other volunteers, maybe not trying to show each other up so that we can earn that next facilitator title or whatever it may be. Not make, you know. Anyways, I think the point is made, that we should be working well with others, supporting the other volunteers, not against each other. Sometimes that can happen. I give special blessings to volunteers who serve their local communities in their countries. These blessings are for all my volunteers in Portugal, in Spain, and around the world. Kanavadan, Kanavadan, Kanavadan. I pray that the service brings you happiness and satisfaction, and that it gives your life purpose and meaning. I pray that it brings you closer to Allah, and that it shines a bright light on your straight path. I pray for your strength to stay on Sirat al-Mustaqim and for Mushkil Asan. I pray for the purity of your soul, for your spiritual strength, for unity, and for your true happiness. Keep faith in your lives. Remember this didar as I will remember it, with love and happiness and deep connection. Kanavadan, Kanavadan, Kanavadan. I believe that's the Farman, and there are some important points here in these last couple prayers, paragraphs of prayers. I pray that the service brings you happiness and satisfaction. What kind of satisfaction? What kind of happiness, right? I think from the earlier paragraphs, we can get an idea of what lasting happiness that the Imam wants us to get from our faith, and that the service is part of our faith. Satisfaction, there is sometimes we can read words and we pass them, but satisfaction, this concept of contentment, of satisfaction, these are important words in the Qur'an. Mutma'in, the satisfaction, and it reflects on the levels of the soul. There's a soul which is at peace, the soul which is satisfied, that's referenced in the Qur'an. So the Imam is praying for our soul to reach that highest level of soul which has satisfaction. And if we remember Maulana Sultan Muhammad Shah's Farman, he talks about the thinking person will not be satisfied until he reaches the goal. He won't be satisfied with reaching halfway. So what level of soul must be attained for you to reach that satisfaction? All things for us to reflect on, ask questions about, inshallah. And that he prays that this service gives your life purpose and meaning. I pray that it brings you closer to Allah. Earlier he said Allah is not separate from you, but he's saying that through the service, through basically you acting out your faith, expressing your faith in service and caring for others, that this would bring us closer to Allah. Inshallah, we're remembering Allah as we serve, right? We're sort of, sometimes we can do things and we forget why we're doing them, or why we're here, why we're doing it in the first place. It just becomes habit, or it becomes duty, or but we need to, the Imam is telling us, he's helping us to connect the dots, that when you're serving, you're doing it, this should help you, bring you closer to Allah, that the service is a way for you to come closer to Allah, right? This, and earlier he said our prayers, right? Our prayers would nourish our soul. And here he's saying the service is going to bring us closer to Allah. So all these things combined is what can lead us, inshallah, to experience the closeness or proximity to Allah, who in reality is not separate from us. And then he says, and that it shines a bright light on your straight path. That the service not only brings you happiness and satisfaction and gives your life purpose and meaning, and it brings you closer to Allah, but that it shines a bright light on your straight path. I would love for some of our attendees or co-hosts to shed some light on this, no pun intended. I pray for your strength to stay on Sirat al-Mustaqim and for Mushkil Asan to stay on Sirat al-Mustaqim. It's very that what does that mean? That it's very easy to fall off Sirat al-Mustaqim. Sirat al-Mustaqim is not just something that we can say we're Ismaili, so we're on Sirat al-Mustaqim. No. But otherwise, why would the Imam have to pray for us, to pray for us to have strength to stay on Sirat al-Mustaqim? That means we have to read between the lines. Remember, Aziz sir has told us again and again to be able to read between the lines. And in my humble opinion, the Imam is saying it's very easy for you to fall off Sirat al-Mustaqim if you're not careful, right? There are many farmans of Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah that we can reflect on to connect things here, and that he's praying for us to have mushkil asan. If we're having trouble staying on Sirat al-Mustaqim, he's praying for those mushkil, for those spiritual difficulties to be eased. The Imam's with us, and he's praying for us to be able to stay on Sirat al-Mustaqim. And then he says, I pray for the purity of your soul. This is connected with how he says he wants service to bring us happiness and satisfaction, right? This is all connected. I pray for the purity of your soul. That what he's saying that purity is a prerequisite for you to attain that lasting happiness, for you to attain that lasting peace, for you to attain that true happiness. Purity is a prerequisite in my understanding. Of course, these are not the words that the Imam has said here. He's saying that I pray for the purity of your soul. But remember what I said, that when the Imam's praying for us and gives prayers for a certain thing, he's saying that he wants us to do that thing, and he's with us while we try to achieve that through the struggle. And so he's saying, I pray for the purity of your soul. In other words, he wants us to purify our souls, for us to have spiritual strength, not for us to be malnourished, not for our souls to become malnourished, for our spiritual strength. So if we take the nourishment, we can be strong. And for unity and for your true happiness. And he ends right there at that paragraph with, and for your true happiness. So what we can read here is that purifying our soul, strengthening our soul, seeing for unity, right? Seeing everybody as that single soul, all of these things, serving others and realizing that we're serving nobody else, that it's all one reality. And this will inshallah give us true happiness. He prays for that. Keep faith in your lives. Remember this didar as I will remember it, with love and happiness and deep connection. Kanavadan, Kanavadan, Kanavadan. Shukr Mawla. He ends that last sentence with keep faith in your lives, and I think that is an important point.